Hey guys, it's Linda. I am so excited about this week. We are doing so much therapy with somebody that we've been talking about forever, and we've had to postpone for personal things, but we're so excited to have Miss Debbie Gaze.
Hi.
So, Debbie, how did you get started with Martelli, first of all?
First of all, I moved to this area and I was talking to one of my customers on the phone, and she said, do you use, I was talking about my arm hurting because I've been cutting fabric. She says, well, you need to order and get one of the rotary cutters from Martelli. She says, they're down there located near you. I go, what? So I'd gone through Fiskars, maybe I shouldn't say name brand. Anyway, I had gone through every imaginable fabric cutter and rotary cutter that you can imagine. Blade after blade after blade, mat after mat after mat. They're still stacked up at the house, but they're in a dark corner, never to be used again. My husband needs to cut something. I said, "Don't touch my Martelli mat. Go get one of the others." So that's how I got in touch. And then because my customers were asking me about certain things like that and for help, I said, well, I'm going to go search out Martelli. So I called, got Melody on the phone one day, and she said, well, come on down to the showroom in the warehouse and let's talk. Not knowing that I should have taken I-10 versus 98 in. An hour before they were going to close at 4, I made it here.
No.
So, yeah, Miss Valerie and Melody and I, we made the best of my time here and talked about a lot of things. And then she called me up a little while later and said, would you like to do some things with Martelli? I said, would I? I was drooling all over the place. And yeah, so
Wonderful.
Many trips here, learning to new things, learning on new products. And I'm just a Martelli shop now.
Wonderful.
With the cutting mats, the rotary cutters, the blades, the precision scissors, the rulers. Oh man, the nice little rulers. And we have some wonderful things we're working on together.
All right, so
Yes.
you're in Panama City, so you're just a couple hours down the road. So talk about how you got started with crafting. We're going to get into fabric folding. We're going to get into that Japanese word that a lot of you know about. So she's going to tell us the difference about those things too. But let's hear a little bit about your background and how you started this journey.
Yeah, well, I'm now a senior citizen, so I've been doing this a long time. I'm now qualified for Social Security, which I think is a good thing. But the way I started was at 6 years of age, standing by my granny when she was sewing aprons and bonnets. They were farmers, and not a lot of cash around, so
That's
even
what you
making
did.
aprons out of feed sacks,
Yeah.
And after that, though, I just wanted to do things with my hands. I just enjoyed the creativity, and so I started doing knitting first, just little headbands. I learned the basic knit and how to knit a long strand about 4 inches wide for that. And from there, I went into embroidery. A neighbor lady was doing embroidery, and she taught me all the stitches of embroidery. My mama knew them, but with 3 girls, she didn't have time. No,
Yeah.
and so my neighbor taught me how to do embroidery. I embroidered everything from pillowcase, any scrap of fabric I could find.
Yep.
Then when the cross stitch, I did decoupage next, of course. I'm going getting scrap wood, and the man's beveling it for me, and I'm doing decoupage before Mod Podge. Decoupage became Mod Podge.
Yep.
Then from that, the cross stitch phase, and I cross stitched and did holiday fairs and with my mother-in-law.
Wow.
But at the same time, my mother-in-law and father-in-law and her sister were doing bead and sequin ornaments. So I started making bead and sequin ornaments from kits, ended up ordering a ton of kits, some of which I still haven't finished, but just having a wonderful time doing that. And then I saw fabric again. Oh my love of fabric. So I started doing the folded fabric ornaments, and then I fell in love with kimikomi and Asian print. So I added Asian print and kimikomi, the Japan form of tucking fabric, cutting and tucking. Added that there, and I couldn't get over the amount of fabrics that were out there since my TGNY days. Of course, I also should back up and say I worked for a textile company, sales and marketing, for 20 years.
Yeah.
And then I went into telecom, took a side trip to telecom and IT for 17. But the way I de-stressed is doing my crafting at night.
Yeah, I think a lot of you guys, like me, can relate to this. A lot of what you're saying is a lot of how we all grew up too. So, okay, now you mentioned kimikomi, you mentioned folded fabric. So let's show a couple examples of this is kimikomi, this is how it's different than folded fabric. So which ones do you want me to pull?
Well, let's look at the heart. Now, I want to preface this by saying I did not make this heart. I have a friend in Italy that made this heart using kimikomi, and I am authorized to reproduce some of her designs, and this is one I'm starting to work on. But can you see how gorgeous that is, and how she did the tucking and the cord and different fabrics from velvet to that's Moda marbles there, I can tell that. Yeah. And then using a glitter pen to outline and highlight the motifs on the back. But I said, I've got to have that when I saw it. So, and I stocked the hearts forms that you can get to use in this. Another, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that's great. What I love is that it's combining a lot of experiences that we've had before with, you know, the textiles, with the fabrics, with all the materials, all of the accessories that we add on, all of those things. It really is a great way to combine.
Beads, sequins, bows, ribbons, cord.
Glitter, the markers, everything.
And I even, I'll show this right now too. I even, cord is hard to come by here. When you look at American-made cord, it's usually a twisted cord, and when you cut it, it starts to untwist. You all have probably seen that, so you tape the end of it so it won't keep untwisting, and you end up losing yardage. I went to Japan and got the Japanese 2mm cord, and this is a sample how it comes in, but I offer it in about 50 colors, and these are just a few of the colors that I offer. And I sell 3 yards at a time, which will make a couple of ornaments, but beautiful. I don't know if you can see the actual silver thread. This is braided cord. It is not twisted, so when the end is cut, it's not going to untwist from you. I'll pull out a piece here and show you. And it's not real stretchy either, so it's not going to stretch on you either. But if you can see the silver that's braided in there, it's just beautiful, easy to work with cord. And of course, some comes with gold. This one has gold. Just about every color comes with silver or gold, and then you have your base color. So all of those I offer on my Etsy site as well.
And I think once you get into a very specific art like this, the difference between good quality cording and those that we pick up at our local big box store, night and day. And you've really focused in on this. This has become your love.
Oh, yes.
This is your love, your life, your business. Your husband is involved in all of this too.
Packing and shipping clerk now. He's my packing and shipping clerk.
I love it. Okay, so we talked kimikomi. So now let's take an example.
Right quick, let's do this one. This is another kimikomi, and it's using velvets, glitter velvets. And it's more of a teal turquoise. It may be blue on your screen, but it's a teal turquoise. And then it's got the sparkle and
that embellishment is just gorgeous there.
The embellishment added around it, the bead caps, the extra bead on the ends. This one has a crystal pin that's in it. And again, you've got the braided iridescent cord on top. So this one, I haven't posted this online for sale yet, but it's going online this weekend. It will be in a kit form with everything you need to be able to make this. These are 1.5mm rhinestones here, so they're not the foil that look like rhinestones. These are true rhinestone. This is true rhinestone chain.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about your kits later on, because the kits are really nice that you've pulled everything, just like Martelli has kits that we offer, when you don't have to go find the pieces. Oh, I bought this and this was junk. Oh, I spent way too much money on this and didn't get what I needed. When you've done all that work, you've done all the research, and then you have directions too. We'll talk about your private Facebook group, which is a big deal. We'll talk about where customers can post pictures of projects that they've done. There's a lot behind the scenes that I want to make sure we get to.
A lot.
Yes, absolutely.
It's a lot to keep up with.
Folded fabric, which ornament do we want to show to talk a little bit about the difference between this and folded fabrics?
Let's look at the red, white, and blue, because everybody loves patriotic. And this is using fabric now.
And what I love is that, just like you said, red, white, and blue. So this, we tend to think of Christmas, but we're going to see a lot of examples aside from
Oh, yeah.
Christmas. And isn't this your most popular one?
It's one of my most popular ones. I'm making sure I get it turned right. I try to make sure I have all the colors in here, the shiny fabrics, the glitter fabrics. This is kind of, if you can probably see, that has kind of a
sheen to
it.
It's gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then the stars, even the stars around the band. And I also include, on this one in particular, there's a flag charm up top.
So you do something special with every one that you make and every kit that you sell. So talk a little bit about what makes yours different.
Well, I do add the charms. There's a date charm, so each time you get a kit, whether you make it that year or not, it's going to have a date charm in it. I released this for, I think it was Memorial Day 2020, so it has a 2020 date charm on it as well as the flag charm. I use the long pearl head pins for every one of the ornaments, so and then the additional embellishments. And you can embellish it as you would like to embellish it. I use a lot of embellishments from, let's see, the black, white, and red one there.
This one?
Mm-hmm, black and silver poinsettia.
And talk fabrics here too, because that is just gorgeous.
Quilt shop quality fabrics. Fabric, keeps going up and up in cost. And of course, every year the manufacturer comes out with their impression redone of a pattern they've had before. And I believe this is a Robert Kaufman fabric from one of their, there you go. From one of their.
I'm going to turn, you talk.
But you can see here I included the shimmer red and then a flat black because it gives it good sharp contrast. And then the 2020 charm and then the filigree heart because I just love this lacy effect behind the poinsettia in particular. But one of the other embellishments I did was I added pearls. I added pearl head pins and into the equation because it kind of just really frames it out well.
So I want to stop for a minute. And Lisa, first off, how many people do we have watching?
67.
Oh, I love it.
Right.
Okay, so I want hearts for anybody that has tried to do any of these. So first give us hearts if you've tried to do this. And then I want...
I've been asking for hearts for a while, so I've been loaded with tons of hearts. Give us some hearts. What do y'all think? So we've been getting lots of hearts.
I want to know how many of you have tried this and how many of you have said, oh my gosh, there's a lot more involved in this. When you talk about this and I look at these up close and personal here, I think, wow, this is a lot of detail, but you've made it easy.
I've made it easy.
So talk about some of the things that you do that help somebody like me that's a little intimidated. Oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do this. How can I be successful with your help?
I would recommend to anyone start with kits. If you get kits from anyone, you're going to have all your pieces, your cuts, your embellishments, and get a little experience under your belt, making the folds, doing the folds. And I know there's a lot of YouTube videos out there. I'm planning to produce some too. I want to show how to do the different folds. It's really, really simple. It's not very time consuming. You can sit down with a kit and make one of these beauties in less than 2 hours.
All right, so let's pull out the kit and show them the kit.
Okay. Well, the first kit I ever sent out, and I brought it along with me because it's still a bestseller. I think I got 4 or 5 orders last week for it, and it was a candy cane kit. And I cut in squares now, but this is the motifs that are used in the center of it. And I did not bring that ornament, but I usually cut in a 5-inch because a lot of people are they'll take one kit and make 2 half ornaments. Cut the ball in half, and I sell half balls too.
Wow, that's cool.
And all they need is an extra piece of fabric for the band, and they have 2 kits.
Wonderful.
Especially if you're doing fairs and all. But everything comes in a package with the tutorial. There is a placement template, and we're going to talk a little bit more about templates. We've got some new things.
You guys that are Martelli customers, you're going to love what Martelli is working with her on.
Yeah.
It's really cool. I got a sneak peek of it, and we'll show you a little bit later on too.
But this template, let me hold it up a little bit, okay? The template, and then when you lay the template, I wish I had.
I'll hold,
Okay.
and then you can position.
You can lay the template where you want to see the motif. Now most times you can fold a fabric in half, and then you'll put your pin in the center and then get it on the ornament and start working around it, and you say, that's not what I wanted it to look like. But you can put that on top of the fabric. You see the little pin dots, the little holes along the template. This happens to be a 3-inch diameter fussy cut window, and you can just use your air erasable markers or your water-based erasable markers and put little dots on your fabric. You know exactly where your first 8 pieces, which is your primary star layout on a picture ornament.
All right, so remember fussy cutting. We'll come back to that in a minute.
Oh,
so we'll
yes.
look at what comes in the kit
Okay.
now, as is, and then we'll come back to that later, because
Okay.
that's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah. Okay, what you're going to get in this kit is you're going to get your border fabric, and it's the red sheen fabric, so it's going to accent that. And you're going to get a candy cane stripe fabric
Match.
that goes with it as well, and a band, which will cover where your two front and back comes together. There's always a band on the side that covers that area that comes together on the side.
I think that's a great one to show with the
Yeah.
cardinal there. Here, flip it around. You can see the cardinal on this side. Look how cute he is.
Well, that's the poinsettia flower, the flower fold, which I can show you
And then
to
right here
do.
in the band, this guy here,
Okay. Keep going.
right here.
Okay.
See the cardinal there? Isn't that adorable? Yep.
The
Okay.
cardinal fabric.
All
and
right.
then the cardinals on the front.
So the band you were talking about there is the fabric that would be here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. All right,
so
good.
you have your band already there and instructions on how to fold it. There is your pack with the bead caps, the beads, the little candy cane charm, a date charm, the chain for the date charm. And it's not just a dainty 1-inch or 5-link chain. It is more of an 1.5 to 2-inch. And then, of course, I put on this one, since we're talking candy canes and kitchens, made with love.
See, and I buy things like this all by themselves.
Yes.
You know, to do from bracelets and from necklaces and from keychains and those kinds of things.
Yeah.
So to have that on an ornament that you've made is
Right.
really special.
Well, what happens, somebody will, see this ornament and say, I want to duplicate that. Well, they have to buy, might have to buy 12 candy canes if they can
Yeah.
find them,
Good luck.
144 pins to a package.
Yeah.
I get them in 500s, but, the right beads, the bead caps, and before you know it, you've got $100 there. Yes, you have more to make more, but if you're like me and get addicted,
Yeah.
you don't make more of that one. You
Right.
make the next one. You make the
Right.
next one.
Right.
You know.
And again, you've done all the work by figuring out what sizes, what materials, the right charms. I can go online and search for this, and what I end up getting is junk a lot of times.
A lot of times you
So,
will,
yeah.
exactly.
So-
And then I do the little ribbon pack. I give a yard of each color of ribbon and a 9-inch hanger to hang the ornament with.
And why do I need a yard of ribbon, if I've got scraps of ribbon at home?
Well, to make 8 loops, the perfect thing to do is to cut your pieces, your 4 pieces, 9 inches. So 4 times 9 is 36. That's the whole yard.
Perfect.
And then when you fold it over to make your figure 8 bow and to make 8 loops, you take 9 inches, divide it in half, 4.5. And 4.5 then is going to turn over to make another. So if you only have 24 inches, you're going to have this little bitty bow that
Yeah.
doesn't really
It's
fit
not really
your
going
ornament.
to, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we want something that the top looks just as nice, as
Right.
exciting as the whole ornament. And sometimes it's proportion that we don't get.
Right.
That's from your experience that we're learning what it is that's visually
Yeah.
appealing too.
Yeah.
Terrific.
Exactly. If someone wanted to use this kit, and this is a ribbon. This one's using ribbon. We hadn't talked about that yet. But if somebody wanted to make this 4-inch ball and only had 24 inches of ribbon to work with, can you imagine how little that bow would be on top of that
Yeah,
ornament?
wimpy.
It looks like an afterthought
Yeah.
to me. So I like to make it look, and I like it to stand up and, and have some texture to it. And
Yeah, absolutely.
know.
All right, so what else do we have in the kit? Then we're going to come back to ribbon in a minute because that's a big deal here.
It is a big deal. Yeah. So you'll get a full color written. I'm going to sell tutorials online as PDFs that can be downloaded eventually.
Great.
In fact, I'm planning to put my first PDFs out on the Scarecrows and the Witch the end of the week. But and it has color pictures through here as
That's
you
huge.
go. Yeah. But detailed, you see your what's included, which is the supplies. And if you want to make a second one, you could go get your supply list and just buy to that. And even how it tells you how to get started, and how to get started is, how to mark your ball, which is a big deal.
Yeah, we're going to look at
We're
your
gonna look
balls
at that.
too to see what makes yours a little bit different than those that I can pick up at the big box store.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then we're going to finish it up by attaching the band and making the bow. So I tell you how I make my bow. You don't have to make your bow the way I do, but the way I do, I like, and it's easy, and there's really no thinking about it when you're
And
doing
the
it.
results are what matters. And for those of us that have tried to do bows before, lots of times I've tried and my bows never look as nice. So being able to have some great instruction where I'm going to have the results that you show, that's a big deal.
Yeah, I like
Okay,
that.
so we have been talking about how you're going to share some tips and tricks, and one of the most important tricks or tips is using the ribbon.
It's using
I never
It's
thought
using
about
the ribbon.
ribbon. I
Yeah.
thought, well, this is fabric, and fabric I've got to buy a yard of or whatever amount, or go through my scraps and everything else. So with the ribbon, everything changes. So talk about how you came to the ribbon and how it works.
Well, there's not really a cost savings. There is a scrap savings, and I'm a scrapper. I've got bins and bins of scraps of fabric. But with ribbon, if it's 2.5 inches wide, then you can cut your 3-inch pieces, because the pieces I start with on fabrics are 2 by 3 rectangles. When you're cutting with ribbon, you can take 2.5-inch wide ribbon, cut it in 3s, and then fold it over and cut it again. So you end up with just 1 1/4 width, but that's okay because you still have your 3-inch length.
Yeah.
It works out great.
Yep.
So your yield is great, and to have a lot of ribbons and mix those ribbons all together in different projects is fun. And right now, of course, Christmas ribbon is abundant in some of the stores. Some are still on boats in the water.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah, but
Look
yeah.
at the little embellishment that you have here.
I have
Is
a
that
bell.
adorable or what? So, yep, very cute. All right, I'm going to swap out and we're going to put this one on. I'll let you put
Okay.
that on there. I'll hang this one back.
this is ribbon too, and I didn't know whether I was going to like this one when I first started working with it, because the ribbon just had Christmas trees going down the center of it, and I go, how is that going to work out?
Wow.
Along the edges actually. So as you can see here, you can really see the spots where the red in the ribbon showed, and you can see the spots where just the green in the ribbon showed.
Look at the embellishments there too.
Yeah, I love the
Yeah.
embellishments on this one. The little light bulb on it, because it just reminds me of a decorated Christmas tree, and the heart. And then I used a little piece of ribbon, just a special cut, that says Merry Christmas,
Yeah, I love it.
hanging down the side.
All right, so let's switch over to your balls and let's talk
Oh,
about
okay.
the balls and the markings
Gladly.
that are there too.
Okay.
Before we go on,
Yeah.
if somebody wanted to buy a kit, say like the candy cane one that you had just posted, where do they need to go?
Right
Because I've already
now,
had a couple ask about where can I purchase these.
oh, fantastic.
So we're going to post this at the very end too, and make sure you get all this information. And I'll post afterwards on our Facebook page all of your contact information. But you have an Etsy shop.
I do have an Etsy shop, and I'm building a website and a shopping cart right now, because some people don't like using Etsy. And I do take requests on my marketplace on Facebook. But you can always email me at debbie@cottageornaments.com. If you're interested in something, I'll tell you how to get there. But my Etsy shop is etsy.com/shop/cottage ornaments. And the cottage ornaments is C and O, is capitalized.
And just by searching cottage ornaments, I was able to find you on Etsy.
Okay, good.
So that's always easy to do too. So just think cottage ornaments, and you can find her there as well. And again, she's kind of local, Pensacola, Panama City. They're not, back to back, but she's not that far away.
No, I'm
so my
not.
guess is you'll be all over here, more times.
More times,
and
yeah.
so we can do a little bit more too.
I think what the next plan is to do a folded ornament and a kimikami ornament and spend a little more time and record that so that people can go back and watch it and learn with, I will teach them.
Yeah, perfect. All right, so we talked about styrofoam balls. You don't use the typical styrofoam ball that we pick up in our stores, mainly because what happens to those styrofoam balls that we use?
Well, they come from China, the majority of them. I've talked to some people in the States that do it, but you couldn't afford to sell them made in the States. They're just too costly to produce. So I order mine from Europe. Mine come in from Europe and the European Union. And what I love about the ones I order is they're a little bit harder. You could press this hard on a China ball and it'll give under your fingers.
Yeah.
I'm pressing hard on this one and it's not. And also, what happens is the beads that are used in these are smaller beads. You can look at this one up close. See if you can get a close in on that. I should have brought one of the other balls, but you can barely see the beads in that ornament, in that foam ball. And others you will see, other manufacturers, you'll see really loose beads. These are put under heat and pressure to give them a little more solidity to the actual firmness, density,
Yes.
the word I'm looking for,
Yep. Yep.
to the ball. Plus, what I find with other balls is the equator sometimes is a 1/4 inch lower, as you see the equator there, that goes all the way around the ball. You have the northern hemisphere and the lower hemisphere. Well, the balls that I am getting from Europe, since 8 division is your primarily used division in ornament making and in the star, we're getting into more types now, but the balls come in with mold lines that have an 8 division line. So if you were to lay your flexible ruler from, let's say, this line here, I'm still getting used to this working backwards thing, but this line here, and work up and down to the equator and across and match up with the other line on the other side, when you finish drawing those 8 lines, your sections are going to be equal.
And that you won't find on the styrofoam balls.
No, because a lot of times you'll have on a 4-inch ball, you might have 1 7/8 on top and 2 1/8 on below. And it matters because once you get your ball put together, your ornament put together, it's either not going to hang properly or you're going to have a big space in the center. It's not going to marry up just like you want it to marry up.
Everything about this says precision. And if you don't start with precision here, you don't end with precision here.
Right. And the good thing about drawing your lines, a lot of people still draw the lines for that reason, because what you want to have happen is this. You can really tell it in this folded fabric ball. What you see here. Whoop. You don't fold the fabric down to start on this one. You use the lines, the foil edges, and you want them to come right straight across to the other side and mirror each other. You want your points to line up all the way around the ball. And believe me, I made a lot of mistakes when I first started and was using China balls. And I would just end up trying just to mark the ball and it would go in a box. I'd just pitch it across the room. Okay, save it for another day.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. So that is precision. It is precision, and it's not hard to get precision perfect. Of course, it's handmade. It's not supposed to be perfect, but as close to perfect as.
Well, there's a difference between handmade and between that, oh, isn't that sweet? You make these? I say, when somebody says, oh, that's so nice, did you make that? That's
yes.
called sarcasm. That's so nice, did you make that? I don't want that kind of comment on something like this, where you put the time, the effort, the money into this. I want where people are saying, oh my God, that's amazing. How did you make this? How? So we have a couple different sizes here. Talk about your sizing.
Well, in the rounds, I now stock everything from 5 centimeter, which is a 2-inch, all the way up to, I have some 5s, some 6s now, and a few 8s. And we have 8s that we have stocked here.
I love
we have 8 stocked here, which is for another future project that we're going to be doing.
Should we do a sneak peek of that project?
Sure. This isn't the one we're going to be doing. My friend in Italy made this one. But we have a hot air balloon in the works. So this is fabric I actually sent Nicoletta, and she made this, and she's been asked to make, I guess, hundreds of those now. And the fabric's out of print, so, she's going to use up all the fabric she got from me and do as many as she can.
I love it.
But I have multitude, and they're all marked. You'll know where your north hemisphere is, your south hemisphere, and your equator line on all of them.
Wonderful.
And another piece of foam that I brought into the mix that has been a huge hit, and that's a large one on top there, is the Hexagon. It's a 6-sided. Let's see if you can see the shape of this. Can you see the 6?
Oh, yeah.
6 sides.
Yep, definitely.
And it dips in the center, and of course your cut lines for this Kimmy ornament would have been the sharp edges that are out.
Yeah.
Now I have found, and I haven't finished, I didn't get mine finished on this, but I took and I put batting under this, which gave it some puffiness. I ran my cord down here, and it's a beautiful pumpkin.
Very cool. Very cool.
Because it's not as tall as it is wide.
Okay.
And I carry these now in a 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11.
And what size is that one?
This one is an 8.
Okay. Now you have one that is my personal favorite.
Okay.
Because it's the Quilt As You Go bundle that I did for the retreat. Can you reach over and grab that one in the front? I don't know if you can reach it way up. You guys that did our retreat, so the Quilt As You Go bundle that we sent out, we had lots of different fabrics, but this is one of the fabrics that we had as an option, and it's all the Asian fabrics. Isn't that gorgeous? I just love.
Yeah.
I love that she used this.
Yeah.
And so it's the same as what we just saw, but you've done multiple fabrics on this, which is really
That was
really
in a
cool.
set of the fat quarters, and I just sat down one night and said, I'm just going to see how this turns out, and people are in love with it. Of course, I used the little flower sequin, not sequin. It's actually a very, very small bead cap. And red crystal beads, a red crystal bead on top, and then a gold top here. And I call this Asian Rainforest.
Oh, nice.
Because that's what it reminds me of.
I like that.
And I've been to Rainforest before, just not in Asia, but it reminded me.
Yeah, that fits.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love
All
Asian
right,
fabrics.
so you showed me a couple other styles that are coming out, and I think these are going to be really fun to play with.
Well, this is getting into my, back to my first love of ornament making, which is bead and sequin. But I can see some of these being used in Kimmy too, in the flowers. But some flowers are really huge. I looked at this earlier and said it would make, it's a cupcake, but it'd make a real cute circus tent. And then Lisa says, well, that would make a great little hut. For a gnome or for the beach.
Gnome or fairy.
Yeah,
Gnome or fairy.
Yeah, those of you that do the fairy homes, it would be so
Yeah.
cute.
Yep.
And then this one I think
The
is
sparrow,
adorable too.
yeah. And I have little trees, I have trains, I have Santa's faces, I have the moon with the face, I have multiple stars and diamonds and you name it.
So it's endless.
It is endless. I couldn't bring I didn't have room in the car for everything.
Of course. All right, so we have lots on the table, so I want to do a little bit of show and tell. So
Okay.
first off, this girl because it's her weekend.
She's gonna be
weekend.
she's Queen Bee this weekend, right?
I mean, look at that nose. Is that adorable or what?
And she's got her broom. I said, wouldn't it be cute if we could make the broom longer and pin it one side through, through from one side to the other?
She's just adorable.
Yeah,
And the
you know,
hair. I mean, look at that.
Me and
Oh.
Stephanie, we love Hocus Pocus, so you
Yeah.
could do
Oh,
the
yeah.
Hocus Pocus ladies out of
Oh,
this.
yeah.
Yeah.
How cute
And
is
then
that?
Change their
I-
hair.
I give them
Yeah.
the directions on how to make the hat. The felt comes in the kit. The fabric cuts come in the kit. How to put it together. How to do the face. The pins. The raffia comes in the kit. The broomstick comes in the kit.
So it's a kit, everybody. It's a kit. All right, so let's grab the scarecrows because those are kits too. And Lisa's got a comment.
Miss Veronica Miller has a question. She says, do you happen to have an example of the wrapped candy form?
Oh, I don't. I didn't bring that with me. I have 6 pieces, and it's the candy. It looks like candy shaped. Is she looking at it on the website?
I'm not
on
sure.
Etsy?
Probably.
She just posted it. Do you have a picture? Do you have it on your website?
I do have the
Okay.
little candies on there, but if she's talking about the one that I've seen some others make, I do have the little round discs that you can use, and you do your whatever on that disc, and then you just put your
the silicone.
organza,
Yeah, yeah.
or I've seen it with organza, I've seen it with
Fun.
lightweight netting, and just tie your little ribbons. I can
Very
help
good.
you out on that, so if you want to
Yeah.
call me or send me
She goes yes on Etsy. So I guess
Okay,
you probably
good.
have it on
All right.
Etsy.
Okay.
So, and your phone number's on your Etsy site too,
Yes.
right? So there's a contact form on Etsy, so she can get
Yeah.
in touch directly with you. And anybody that has questions out there,
Absolutely.
You know, and you're always looking for new projects, new ideas. I mean, you've got too much on your plate already. So, but
okay.
you know, it's that kind of thing that you say, okay, this did she lead to them or did they lead to her?
Well,
Who was first?
I have I collaborated on this. Connie Green Jones is a real good friend of mine in Ohio, and she says we're gonna make witches because they want, my customer base wants something new and different, and we're just gonna keep going and keep going and keep going. So we collaborated on all of these together,
I love it.
and I mean she's made and sold hundreds of these little babies, but she helped me get them out there quick by telling me what fabrics I needed and what I need to use, and then I put it together in the tutorial. Her husband even typed up the Cliff Notes.
Oh, how nice. I love it.
Yeah, so I want to give Connie
A
credit.
shout out. Yeah.
Yeah, shout out
Yeah.
because she's amazing. She's amazing. There's a lot of stuff that she does that then you see other people doing too, but yeah, she's just fabulous.
So you can buy a kit for the female, you can
The
buy a
little boy,
kit
little
for
girl.
the male, and you get all the little embellishments with this.
The buttons, the embellishment, the raffia, the ribbon, the sunflower.
All right, let's move
the
into
band.
Christmas. What do we have for Christmas?
These are not on my Etsy site yet because these are coming this end of this week. This is Mrs. Claus. Mr. Claus, Santa, wasn't quite ready to present today, so I had to leave him at home
And these are going to be on your website about when?
Friday.
Friday. Oh,
Friday.
not just an about, Friday.
Friday.
Okay, so if you're interested in Santa or Mrs. Claus, stick around for Friday. Just be patient.
Yes.
And then you've got right now to accompany Mrs. Claus. Oh, so cute.
This is my
The
favorite.
snowman.
I love it.
The snowman, and he's got the little set. It's not just glitter; it's a little set that's up here, and the little hat.
Turn him around too, because just like with all of your other ornaments, you've got the charm on the back there as well for 2021.
2021. Yeah,
So
I love the little bow tie. I don't know. Can you see that little bow tie?
Adorable.
I was doing his buttons and all, and I took the top button off, and I said, "Oh my gosh!" I was saving the bow ties, and I have plenty of them.
Perfect.
But I was saving them for Mr. Penguin,
Oh,
and the
love it.
tuxedo penguin,
Yep.
and that may show up on the penguin too.
Oh, good.
But
Everybody's loving these. Oh, how cute. That snowman. How precious.
Yeah. All right,
They're
now.
not hard to make. They're fun
Miss
to
Coffin
make.
wants to know why you keep teasing her.
Well, since we're talking teas, let's show the Christmas trees.
Oh yes,
Because
yeah.
you said these aren't new. These
No.
are not new ones.
I made these in 2019, and there is a pattern out there that somebody put out. So I made these for myself, for my personal use. But I have tweaked my own pattern. So these have been made for 3 years now. One of the trees, I finished it up while taking care of my dad one day so my mom could go to her doctor's appointment with my sister. And I got it done, and I set it down in front of Mama's window on the floor to take a picture of it. And so when she came in, Daddy says, "Hon, I know you wanted a Christmas tree. Debbie got you one." And Mama's looking for the Christmas tree, and there's a little Christmas tree in the floor.
Now, are these going to be kits?
I am going to make a Christmas tree kit.
Okay.
I am in the process of making an angel kit that's going to be a 7-inch angel with some beautiful wings. And then I can do, cones are used for a lot of things. This is a cone. And again, these cones come from Europe. They're not the cones you get anywhere else. This one looks green in the TV screen, but it's actually Gold Lux by Hoffman. I think
Just
it's Gold
beautiful.
Lux.
Yeah.
And then the musical print.
fabric. Yeah.
hmm
Yeah.
And the little angels on top. I have a lot of different color angels. I love angels.
That's gorgeous.
But this one I used the bead and put a little halo on her head.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, so we want to start wrapping up, but what I want to
Okay.
do is give a little tease about what's going to be coming from Martelli that will help
Yeah.
this here
Gonna make
be
it so-
simpler, easier, better.
Yeah.
Remember that acrylic template that she had, the paper template? Let's show what we're working with you on doing. So instead of this, because you guys know Martelli, we have our no-slip templates. So we're going to be, and she's been working with Shane on this, so we're going to be offering something that is so cool. When she showed me how this worked earlier, it's like, okay, this is going to be put to shame.
Okay. I like cutting fussy cuts in squares because squares cut easier with a rotary cutter to me and faster, and I cut a lot of fussy cuts. So it's going to be square.
On
but-
the outside.
On the outside, but for instance, my
this
4-inch
on here,
ball.
right
I'm sorry, I've cluttered up the table here.
That's okay, it happens.
You take the 4-inch ball and sit this down and just put a pin in a couple of places underneath, and this won't bend or break or anything. It's made for you to have for a long time. On the 10-centimeter ball, you can see that it sits around the equator, and you've got the little dots. Let's say you bought a 4-inch ball from a competitor. It may not be exactly 4 inches, but you can still put it in here and it will fit. And just, make your marks, pin it into place, make your little marks where the little cutouts are in here. Can you see those well?
Yeah,
okay.
I can see.
Okay. So that, and then what we're going to do is put non-slip on the back. So when you lay this square down on your fabric and you've got your 3-inch frame in the center, you're laying it down on the fabric, the whole piece of fabric, whether it's a fat quarter, a quarter yard, or a yard, or if you like me, a 10-yard piece.
Yeah.
And your circle, let's say you want your circle to be 3 inches. That's the 3-inch. You can frame out your fussy cut.
And it's a little hard with the dark, but you can see how I'm moving that around. So,
I could pull out.
fussy cutting the way we would, but because there's the no-slip material on here, you're going to get exactly what you want. And you'll cut that out.
And it will go inside the frame then as well. And use a square frame. Of course, that's going to be in a square frame.
Yeah.
So that pattern on the center is going to be in.
Yeah.
Now the
So
other
this will be
thing,
round, but this will be square here.
exactly. The other thing about this is, even though you've got your lines on there, what do you do when you cover your lines up with your fussy cut? Okay, a lot of people ask that. Oh, I can't see my lines now because the fussy cut's covering them up. I use air-soluble markers or water-soluble markers. And either one works great for me, and they come in pink and purple and just different colors. And you can put a dot everywhere that there's a cutout. Let's do it on here. Let's just lay it flat on here. Let's assume your fussy cut's in the center of that, and non-slip would keep that from sliding off, wouldn't it? I tell you, it does not. Your fabric will move, but your template won't with that stuff. But you can make a mark at each one of these precision points, and you have where you're going to put your first pin.
Perfect.
You have where you're going to put your first pin.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
No need to worry about the center. You pin it, you put a pin, you lay that flattened down on your ball or whatever you're using, and just make your pins in those places, and that's easy enough. Of course, your next layer is going to be a measurement from the corner tip of the first layer.
Perfect.
Do we know when this template's going to be available?
As soon as it slows down a little bit.
Yeah.
So I know Valerie and I have been working on this for quite a while. We just haven't brought it to the table yet because of the
So many other
workload.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's in Houston this week for the big quilt market that didn't happen last year. A lot of people out there for a quilt market. I wish I could go. I'd be in trouble again with fabric. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
I need to buy an airline ticket just for the fabric.
So let's pull up the sheet that we have so people know how they can find you, find your kits, talk about for a minute about your Facebook private group.
Okay, to have a private group on Facebook, you have to have a page too. I do very little posting on the page. It's just too much to keep up with. I try to post things that are new there just to influence people, lure them over to the sites.
Yeah.
My private groups are because there's a lot of people out there just looking for really great women, which most of us are women. There's some males in the group too, though, that also buy from me. And I love they're really creative and do great work. Very meticulous. But you can go to my marketplace group, and it's Cottage Ornaments Marketplace on Facebook, and ask to join. It'll come up with a couple of questions. Answer the questions, you'll be automatically accepted. Don't answer the questions, then I'll take a look at your profile and make sure you're not a follower of scoping out nice women.
Somebody that's trying to get a date. Yep.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Yep.
But I also have the Cottage Ornaments fan page. What I love for you to do is to go post pictures of what you've made. It can be any ornament. It doesn't matter if you bought my kit, somebody else's kit,
That's cool.
or created your own. It can be, I know y'all doing a stuffed
Holiday
kit,
stuffies
holiday
next
stuffies
week.
next week.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a holiday stuffy. It could be a hot pad Christmas. Doesn't have to be Christmas, because I do Easter, Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, fall. It can be seasonal, whatever you would consider an ornament, a little wreath, whatever. You can also sell yourself on that site your finished items. I request no selling of supplies because that's how I make my living. But if you want to see what I have for sale and to order, you can go to my Facebook Marketplace and just comment under what you see. I get those comments direct to my inbox, and I'll send you a PayPal invoice. Or you can go to Etsy, where if your order is $35 or more, you get prepaid freight.
That's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. And all of my foam is on Etsy. So, well, not all of it. I just got some new stuff in. Most of my foam is on Etsy.
But you add at a pretty regular basis too.
Oh,
so
yeah,
you've
yeah.
got new kits coming out, you've got new designs, you've got new projects and products as well too. All right, so I think we could talk about this forever, but we need to remind you of what else is going on. So this, I think, has been exciting. I can't wait to see what you all do with this, to see how many of you are into this and what you've already done. And let us know if you buy one of her kits and you make something with her instruction, because we really want to share that. This is a little bit kind of outside of our normal quilter, sewer kind of venue. So we're really excited to see how much you all venture into this. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Lisa and I later on are going to be in Houston. So we're leaving for Houston in a day. And we will be there for pop-ups. The pop-ups, just stay tuned. I'll try to post, an hour or two beforehand to let you know. Lisa and I are going to be doing a Facebook Live, so you can be on the lookout for that. Normally on Fridays we do a wrap-up. We're not going to be doing a wrap-up because we're going to be driving, and then we'll be unloading the truck and the van or whatever it is that we're taking. So we won't do a wrap-up, but we will do a pop-up sometime Friday evening. And then Saturday, we're going to do pop-ups throughout, but we've got several things scheduled. A meet and greet for anybody that is there at Houston. So come by the booth if you are going to be at the Houston show. Meet us. We can't wait for you guys to meet us and for us to meet you and for you all to meet each other. If you can't be there, we'll be doing a 1 o'clock So Much Therapy, where we're going to be showing you some of our favorite quilts in the quilt gallery. So that'll be fun. And then pop-ups that evening, and then maybe on Sunday when we're driving back too. So you just have to stay tuned. Next week, we're going to do a Holiday Stuffies Part 2. But I want to tell you about one more thing we're going to do. Before the Holiday Stuffies, during our on the air, we're going to do a drawing. Because you came in and said, aren't we doing a drawing? And so we haven't done as many drawings. So
like, comment, share.
yeah, so you guys today, like, comment, share, tag your friends, and we're going to be giving away some of your favorite tools. So when I asked what her favorite tools were, rotary cutters, the mat, those kinds of things, but some of those things you've already got. You may or may not have the Skinny Mini. This is the 16-inch set. You may have the longer set. The 16-inch set is really great with our turntable, smaller mats, but also with smaller pieces of fabric. You love the mat scrubber that we have. You need a measuring tape. And she said, let's give the one with the Martelli logo. So my guess is you guys probably don't have this. It has the Martelli logo on it. And then you love, love, love.
Oh, these precision scissors are the bomb. I have probably 50 pairs of scissors. Yeah, but when it comes to doing kimmy-comey, you need these scissors. So if you're a kimmy-comey person, the precision scissors they'll get in there, they'll snip it, and they just work. Yeah. They work.
So these guys right here, like, comment, share, tag your friend. Next Tuesday at the 1 o'clock on the air, we'll draw a name and we'll give one person these. Now, if you already own these, no big deal. You need another set.
Oh,
but you can also give it to somebody too, so it would make a great gift for somebody else. Lisa and I also today have been busy working on the upcoming Dreams Divided class. So she has been sewing up a storm, cutting up a storm. I've been taking pictures, writing the directions, so be on the lookout for that. That's going to be November 16th and 17th. It's a free class. That is going to be an afternoon only. We'll make a post about it with more details. We'll have a kit that we're putting together in both a teal color and a pink color. So be on the lookout for a Facebook post on that too. And then it'll be on the website probably after we get back from Houston. So look for that too. I think I've covered most everything. We've got some other things from Houston that we'll be doing. So you can watch the on the air that we did Tuesday. You can watch last week's weekly wrap up that we did where we talked about those. But I just wanted to give you a heads up of things that are coming if you haven't seen those. And then I want to say thank you.
Well, thank you. Can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
Let's see, we have 4 minutes. I pulled one of these Skinny Mini rulers out because if you're cutting, if you have a 1/4 yard of fabric and you're wanting to cut a 3-inch, which is what we mostly do, is cut the 3-inch and then cut it down into 2s. This is this is 2.5 inch wide. So if you're a lot of times we cut 2.5 inches wide. If you lay that down with your first cut line here and cut along, have you ever cut a piece and you end up finding out it's 2 inches on one end and 2 1/4 on the other end because your ruler slipped while you were cutting? This won't slip.
Not so.
This is the backing that
That's
comes.
what we've been talking about.
Huh?
It's the best.
It's the best.
No slipping,
slip,
no kidding.
no slip, no kidding. And this does come in a smaller unit if you just have a little workspace and the Martelli small mat and maybe just the 28 millimeter rotary cutter blade. Then the smaller kit is just perfect for those small tight areas. I have some customers who work off the top of their computers. Yeah, because
whatever space you have.
Yeah, whatever space you have.
Yeah.
But the rulers are the bomb.
The bomb.
The bomb, and the precision scissors, and the mat scrubber, and the rotary cutters. If you don't have rotary cutters,
Yeah, yeah.
invest.
All right, so how do you win this gift? Like, comment, share, tag your friends, all of those things that really help us out. You and I both are fiddle fingers or whatever it's called. We're dropping a whole bunch of stuff today.
Dropsies.
We won't worry about that now.
Yeah, and then
So-
support our local artists. Support her. Go to her
Yeah.
Facebook page, her Etsy, her website. And if you really like what you saw today, pick up some of her kits. That would be
Yeah.
really good.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
and you're going to get a kit with directions that will be like any other, unlike any other, and that's the big deal because this has been your livelihood for quite a while now.
2 years.
So what you're teaching us, we're not going to get from somebody else. So if I were to sit down and watch a YouTube video, what I'm going to get from you will be a lot better than what I'm going to see out there. And that's been the fun of all of this is, you know, to see the variety that we have here and the knowledge that you have. And it's a great combination.
This is
So-
just a drop in the bucket. I was going in there. What can I take? What can I take? And you know, trying to get it and think and all. So
Yeah.
I have a tree that stays up all the time, and
Oh,
it's
cool.
loaded with hundreds of
Very cool.
ornaments.
So visit her Facebook, visit her Etsy
Please.
shop, see what she's got. Reach out to her if you have any questions. And as always, if you have any questions from us, learn@martellinoceans.com. Thanks so much for watching.
Thank
Please
you.
share this post so other people can see this as well. We've got a wider audience that we're dealing with now with something like this. So you may have friends that don't quilt at all that would just fall in love with this. So spread the word, share it out there with everybody you know. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. Thank you, Linda.
Thank you.